Following a Southern Poverty Law Center expose on Stephen Miller, a top Trump advisor, and the racist emails that he was sending in his emails to Breitbart editors, there are growing calls for him to resign, which makes a lot of sense. Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez had started a petition demanding that he step down, and he hasn't done so yet. But we do have some more information about what people are demanding and what the response from the Trump administration has been. Now, civil rights groups have banded together to call for Stephen Miller's resignation. The Leadership Conference on Civil and Human Rights wrote to the White House saying that the administration will continue to, quote, be responsible for the violence fueled by Miller's hate and bigotry as long as he's still working for the federal government. Now, I want to refresh your memory about what we found through that expose by the Southern Poverty Law Center. CNN outlines some of it in this next clip. Take a look.
In one email dated October 2015, while Miller still worked for then Senator Jeff Sessions, he touts what he saw as the dangers of allowing hurricane victims from Mexico to come to the U.S. They will all get TPS, he writes. That's temporary protection status. He goes on to write, that needs to be the weekend's big story. TPS is everything. Then he sends then Breitbart staffer Katie McHugh an article from prominent white nationalist website VDare of the dangers of TPS. In 2018, well after Miller joined Trump's inner circle, the president ended the TPS status for several countries, including in Central America and Africa.
So he was communicating with a specific Breitbart editor who was later fired over Islamophobic tweets, and just made it clear that he was trying to pressure, not even pressure them. I mean, they're in the same type of ideological space. He tried to kind of drive their coverage on immigration and race-related stories. And he's a terrible person, so you can understand what kind of terrible things he was encouraging them to write.
Yeah, and the stuff that came out today had much more granular discussions between him and I believe the same Breitbart reporter about exactly what terms to use when referencing immigration reform, apparently as part of an effort, even earlier an effort to like hurt Marco Rubio back during the primary and things like that. And so it was a very close working relationship with them that obviously reflects poorly on Stephen Miller and Breitbart and both. And for some reason, Breitbart is like a trusted news source on Facebook, even though they're coordinating not only with white supremacists, but with the White House too, in a way that Facebook wouldn't allow other news outlets to.
I mean, we have a Democratic presidential candidate constantly advertising on the website and doing interviews with them, and also named them in her lawsuit against Google, as if Breitbart is a legitimate news organization that needs to be protected. But nonetheless, I'll focus on this particular story in front of me right now. Now, Stephen Miller is a complete and utter disaster, not only because of the way he has influenced the type of reporting coming from Breitbart, but because of what he pushes for within the White House. So the child separation policy, he successfully pushed for that and he got his way. And we have children in cages, some of whom literally died while being detained in those cages away from their parents. We have multiple adult migrants who have died in those cages. These are the type of cruel policies that, I mean, obviously Trump is in favor of as well. He's complicit in it in the very least, but these are Stephen Miller's ideas, and you can see them actually carried out within the administration. Just to give you a little more from the Leadership Conference on Civil and Human Rights, the letter that they sent to the Trump administration, they write, quote, Stephen Miller represents white supremacy, violent extremism and hate, and ideologies that are antithetical to the fundamental values that guide our democracy. Allowing him to remain a White House advisor is a betrayal of our national ideals and of justice, inclusion, and fairness. We call on you to halt your own hateful actions and rhetoric and remove all hate enthusiasts from the administration. I mean, look, I commend them for writing this letter, but good luck. Let's keep it real. These are the types of things that Trump finds appealing about Stephen Miller. But I will say, there have been various Trump administration officials who have been pushed out because of their, in some cases, unlawful activity within the administration. So there, the misuse of taxpayer money. There have been people pushed out because of that, but you need pressure, and it needs to be consistent pressure. And right now, unfortunately, I think Americans are being pulled in so many different directions.
Yeah.
Like we're so distracted because there's so much to focus on.
I think even in some of those earlier cases, I think that he was done with those people. I think that if he still likes Stephen Miller and thinks that he's a good advisor or whatever, I don't know what leverage anyone calling for him to resign has. Like I think it's awesome that AOC did it after this initial reporting and she's still talking about it even as the impeachment has taken a lot of people's attention. But why would he resign? For what possible reason? Why would Trump force him out, especially over this? He wouldn't want to send a signal to his base that he was against someone for being a white nationalist. Stephen Miller has nothing to gain by resigning. It's not like he has a reputation that he's protecting and he wants to get the criticism off of him. Trump's not really trying to work with the Democrats on any legislation through the rest of his term, so it's not like he needs goodwill among the Democrats. I think it's great to put pressure on him, but I can't imagine why either of them would give an inch on this.
Yeah, I mean, look, you do make a good point, especially because Trump hasn't actually delivered on anything for his base other than the bigotry that they found appealing about him, right? And so if Trump gets rid of Stephen Miller, you're right, he'll probably get viciously attacked by the worst aspects of the right wing. And it doesn't serve his best interests, especially at a time when he needs support the most.
Yeah.
But it is important to not lose sight of all the other things that are going on with this administration. It's not just about Trump's activities when it comes to the impeachment investigation. It's also the policies that he's still pursuing behind the scenes as we're focused on the impeachment investigation. You still have these goons working for him. You still have, provocative actions abroad. Just recently you had the Trump administration reverse the US policy on Israeli settlements in the West Bank. We'll talk about that story a little later. It's just a complete and utter disaster. So try not to get too distracted by one thing. Just understand what this administration is really about and what's really going on.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks. We really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.